Hi guys, welcome to this week's Vontolken Diaries. It's been an alright week. I've been a bit unwell unfortunately and I've had a massive assignment due for law, so it's been a little slower than I would like to get articles up on the website. But one thing that has happened in the last week or two is a greater understanding that I have gained in what I am doing with the website and what I am doing outside of my performing, and that is helping people. That's something that I've really figured that I really would love to do and do love to do. And I think my favorite way of doing that is by connecting emotionally, which is kind of what acting and everything is, of course. But I really like the idea that perhaps something I have learned in my life can help someone else in theirs. I mean, this is why I'm doing these videos. It's why I'm writing the book I'm writing. I'm just trying to hopefully add something good to the world. I don't know if I'm succeeding, but I like it, so it's all that matters. Full disclosure though, this video I have done a number of times already. I am really trying my hardest to articulate exactly what I want to say without sounding judgmental and without sounding like I'm telling people exactly what they should be doing. The reason I have gone back and back and back to do this video is because it's a really sensitive topic and one that means a lot to me, so I really do want to get it right. And the topic is religion. As you would know from previous videos, if you have watched them, I grew up in a very religious household. My parents are still very religious. And this ended up conflicting with who I was as a person. In a lot of ways, it's a typical story. Gay boy grows up in a Catholic family and conflict ensues. But for me, it really, for whatever reason, whether it's my personality, whether it's how firmly and fervently my parents believe what they believe, but it really did affect my life negatively for a very, very, very long time. For 15 years, I suffered from identity crisis, anxiety, depression. I spent I'm not kidding when I say every day for 15 years, I thought about committing suicide. And deep down, I think I knew that it wasn't because I really wanted to die. It was just that I just wanted things to be over. I didn't want to feel what I was feeling anymore. And a lot of what that feeling was fear. I couldn't really articulate at the time exactly what that fear was because I was so mired in the religion still. I knew that I was gay, or yeah, I did. I knew that I was gay, and I knew that I wanted to have sex and I wanted to explore things that were against the religion, but so strong were my beliefs in the religion as well that it just ate away at me. And I mean, everyone's heard of Catholic guilt, but it really was something that was just for whatever reason, got its claws into me more than I would have imagined it would have, and just ate away at me. And so, as I have built myself back up over the last 5 or 6 years and put things in place that have made me a much happier and more grounded person over the last little while, I've also realized that I now believe that children should not be forced to believe in anything in particular, as long as they are not hurting other people. I mean, especially religion. Because these children are very susceptible to influences, are very impressionable. And as soon as you tell them that this is the way to be, there is no other thing to believe but this set of information, then you're no longer treating them as an individual, I think. I think you are treating them as a part of you almost. What I mean by that is I see now, or I believe now, that a lot of the time when people try to force their opinion on other people is because of how afraid they are, of how scared they are of not knowing truly. And so they want to hold on to it and want other people to hold on to it so it makes them feel more secure. And I have seen this in my life. And unfortunately, when you act out of fear, you then breed fear. And often in a parental-child relationship, the fear that's acted out of by a parent can then be bred into a child. And that child will then in the future be afraid and act out of fear as well. This is all coming from my own personal experiences, and I have really found it to be so true in my life. And the more I reflected on things I have done and who I have been, the more I've understood this. And this is not to say that I blame everything on my parents or the religion, but, and I do take responsibility for actions I have done, whether they've been good, bad, or otherwise. But I think it definitely played a really major part. One thing that I keep on coming back to when I think about how frightening I find indoctrinating children like that in a religion is when you are part of Catholicism, throughout your life there are 7 sacred sacraments, and one of them, it's the third, I believe, happens when you're 11 or 12, and it's called confirmation. Well, at least it happened when I was 11 or 12. Apparently there were some other people who happened later, and you can do it later in life if you haven't been brought up to be Catholic, but if you have been, I believe it happens usually when you're 11 or 12. And this act is confirming your place in the religion. It's confirming your belief in Jesus, in the Bible, in God, in everything the religion entails. And there are 2 thoughts I have about this, two ways this could be interpreted. One, it could just be interpreted as a ceremony that means very little, and is just kind of obligatory, which in that case, it's more for the parents and more for the religion than it is for the child. Or 2, it could be interpreted as the parents and the religion really do believe that the child has the capacity to say, yeah, I've thought about this, I've reflected on this, and this is what I really want from life. This is what I really want to follow. I believe in this wholeheartedly. Now, of course, if I look at me and my friends and everyone I know, it's definitely not number 2. You don't have the capacity as an 11 or 12-year-old to be able to really understand what really religious people term as the most important thing in their life. It's so intricate, it's so delicate. It's all about the meaning of life, and you're expecting 11 or 12-year-old to understand it? So I just don't see how it could be that. But then, if it's not, it's almost like, well, what is the point of it? It's not really for the child, really. And to me, it ends up just saying, it feels like to me, from my experience, more of a way of getting your hooks into the child and being like, you are now part of this, rather than actually allowing the child to make a genuine declaration, or allowing the child that time and the freedom to really understand what they're doing and what they believe and who they are. Which again, I just don't think would happen as an 11 or 12-year-old. You'd be older. You'd be an adult. I mean, I'm nearly 35 and I really now only feel like I'm starting to put pieces together. So, with all this, I'm not saying that you should raise your child in a certain way or that all religion is bad. I firmly believe that everyone should be able to believe whatever they want to believe, as long as they are not hurting anyone else and they are not trying to enforce what they believe on anyone else. But unfortunately, within religion, often a major part of believing in it and practicing it is the need to pass on the information and preach the word of God. And it becomes not just about giving someone information and letting them decide. Often, from my experience, it becomes, this is the right way and you need to believe this. Which is, again, for an adult even, much less a child. For an adult or a child, even more so a child, it is just not a positive way to approach talking about something. I really think that children are their own entities. I have seen parents in the past who have really treated their child as if they are there to mold them. They own them and they're there to mold them to how they want them to be. Whereas I look at parents as guardians of these beings, trying to keep them safe and healthy and make sure they don't hurt themselves and hurt others as much as possible, but with as much freedom to become whoever they want to be whoever they want to be. And with that, one major point that I want to make is that with that freedom comes no expectation of where the child will end up. And should they end up somewhere where you weren't expecting, it should never cost that child a parent's love or a parent's respect. And I don't think, looking back, that my parents didn't ever love me. But I definitely felt like I had lost their love a little bit, and I had lost their respect. So I just wouldn't want that to happen to other children, because it's a really hard thing to deal with, especially when you're very close to your parents or one of your parents. I hope for some of you that resonated with you. And I hope no one out there has looked at this as me preaching my way, because I know it might sound a bit hypocritical, me saying you should never tell people how to live and enforce your beliefs, but then I'm saying that everyone should believe that in itself. So it's a bit kind of like catch-22. But the difference is that if you allow everyone else to believe whatever they want to believe, there is freedom in the world. As soon as you try to do it when you have a belief that is constricting, then there's less freedom in the world. And I think we need more freedom. I do. And I think the more people are able to be exactly who they are, the more people are able to allow others to be exactly who they are, the more they are going to allow themselves to be exactly who they are, the more everyone is going to be happier, and the more the world is going to be a more peaceful and beautiful place. And that, more than anything, is something that I really strive to create little pockets of where I can. Okay, I think I'm happy with this one. So, print. I hope you guys have had a really good week and a half, however long it's been, and I hope you have another good week. I really appreciate you staying with me for the entire of this video. It's a, like I say, it's a really important topic to me, and it's one that's quite difficult to articulate. So I appreciate that, and I hope if you have any questions, contact me at thecurationofman.com, info@thecurationofman.com, or if you want to share your stories, anything like that. I really adore when people connect with me like that, so I welcome it. Okay, guys, have a great week. Sending love to everyone, and I'll see you next week. Bye.